so good evening class. Today we will start with our next chapter, that is free consent. So after free consent there are, I guess, 4 more chapters left. That is legality of objects, void and voidable agreements, discharge of a contract, specific contract. Yeah, right. 4 more chapters left to complete our syllabus. Okay. So let's just start with free consent. Okay. Uh, in the first class, maybe I have talked about a term known as consensus ad idem. And I told that what is consensus ad idem? It means identical thinking. Only when there is a consensus ad idem, then only a contract is possible. Remember, then only a contract is possible. Means when 2 or more person are giving the consent, agreeing upon the same thing, identical thinking, then only a contract is possible. So section 13 says that when two or more person are said to consent, when they agree upon the same thing in the same sense, right? Okay, so there is another term that we will know, that is error in consensus. What do you mean by error in consensus? What I wrote, see, of error in consent. Error in, it's always better to have physical classes. The board is more better than this. Anyways, error in consensus. Okay, is it all okay? Is it visible? So error in consensus means when there is no consent at all. Means when there is no consent. Error in consensus means when there is no consent. Then of course, when there is no consent, it means that it is not possible to have a contract. The contract becomes void from the very beginning. And whenever we are talking about or saying that void from the very beginning, we say it as void ab initio. So 3 things today we have learned. One is consensus ad idem. It means identical thinking. Error in consensus means what? When there is no consent at all. And when there is no consent at all of the parties, then the contract becomes void ab initio. What does that mean? Void ab initio means the contract is void from the very beginning. Is it clear? So, what is free consent? Free consent means obtaining consent from the parties on the same matter in the same sense. Section 13 is describing that. Okay, then which consent will not be considered as free? So section 14 says that consent is not said to be free when it is caused by any of the following. What? Section 14 is saying that consent is not said to be free when it is caused by the following. What are the followings? Coercion. Next is undue influence. Next is fraud. Next is misrepresentation. And next is mistake. So coercion, if the consent is obtained by using any 5 of this, then the consent is said not to be free. Correct? So coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, mistake. Right? Coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, mistake. Is it okay? For these 4, when these 4 happens, the contract becomes voidable. That is, it could be set aside by the parties on whom coercion or undue influence or fraud or misrepresentation have made some effect. Okay, so it is voidable. the contract will be set aside. But only in case of mistake, the contract becomes void. Like mistakenly you're doing something without knowing about anything. In that case, suppose if the subject matter doesn't exist, in that case, how the contract, how you could proceed with the contract? তাই না? আমি একটা কন্ট্রাক্ট করলাম যে কি যে আমার গাড়িটা একজনকে আমি বিক্রি করে দেবো, মাই কার ইজ লাইং ইন মাই গ্যারেজ, বাট কন্ট্রাক্ট করার পরের দিনই গ্যারেজে আগুন লেগে গাড়িটা নষ্ট হয়ে গেল. সো ইফ দ্য সাবজেক্ট ম্যাটার ইজ গেটিং ডেস্ট্রয়েড, then the contract becomes a mistake and it becomes void because it is not, we cannot perform it because the subject matter is no more there. But only in case of coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, the contract becomes voidable. What voidable means? What? That it could be set aside. It could be set aside. Clear? So, what is coercion? So let's just talk about coercion. What do you mean by coercion? Coercion means when some kind of physical force is being applied to receive, to obtain the consent. When some kind of physical force is being applied to obtain the consent of the party, it is called coercion. Means we are committing or we are threatening someone to commit something or commit some act which is forbidden by the Indian Penal Code, IPC. We are doing some act in order to obtain the consent of the opposite party, and that act which we are doing is forbidden by the Indian Penal Code, IPC. So that leads to coercion. Okay, that leads to coercion. Coercion means we are forcing someone. We are exercising some kind of force. Okay, that means coercion. So if I give you an example of coercion, like suppose if I give you an example of coercion, like suppose Salman. Okay, suppose Salman is a party and Vicky is another party. Okay, now Salman is threatening Vicky. That if Vicky do not sign the contract paper, then Salman will kidnap his wife. Okay, no smiling please. Anyways, so if Salman, it's not that Vicky, okay, keep in mind. Okay, then if suppose what Salman is doing, Salman is forcing Vicky to sign a contract paper. But this, how Salman is forcing by beating Vicky, by physically harming Vicky, and also threatening to kidnap his wife. This threat of kidnapping, is this allowed by IPC? This threat to do something, threat to do an act which IPC doesn't allow. So this leads to coercion. Of course, Vicky will not want his wife to get kidnapped, right? So Vicky will sign the contract paper, and this signing, this consent is obtained by what? By coercion, by physical force, or by the threat to commit something, or by the threat to commit an act that is forbidden by the Indian Penal Code. আমি যেটা থ্রেটনিংটা দিচ্ছি যে আমি তোমার ওয়াইফকে কিডন্যাপ করে নেব, this is not what IPC allows. That's why whenever Vicky will sign the contract paper, that signing, that consent will be considered as consent obtained by means of coercion. Is it clear? So this is coercion. What? Physical force. Just remember, physical force or a threat to commit an act forbidden by IPC, or a threat to do some act forbidden by IPC, that is coercion. That is coercion. Clear? So এতক্ষণ আমরা কি পড়লাম, just giving a revision, a quick revision. That is, what is consensus ad idem? It means identical thinking. What is error in consensus? It means when there is no consent at all, and whenever there is no consent at all, what happens? The contract becomes void ab initio. What does this ab initio means void from the very beginning. Void from the very beginning. Is it clear? Next, what is free consent? When the parties are giving consent, agreeing on same thing in the same sense. Section 13. And what section 14 is saying? That if consent is obtained by any 5 of the following. What? Number 1, coercion. Number 2, undue influence. Number 3, fraud. Number 4, misrepresentation. Number 5, mistake. In that case, the consent will be said as not obtained freely. All these 5 things will never lead to a free consent. Okay, but in case of coercion, undue influence, fraud and misrepresentation, the contract becomes voidable, and in case of mistake, the contract becomes void. Okay, now what is coercion? Coercion means, okay, just a second, okay, just a second, just hold on. I have someone, just a second. Okay, sorry class, actually no one is in my home, so people are coming and I have to attend them. Anyways, so what coercion? Coercion is what? Coercion means Salman and Vicky. Suppose Salman is forcing Vicky to sign a contract. Why? And threatening, giving a threat that if Vicky fails to sign the contract, then Salman will kidnap his wife. Now this physical force leads to coercion when we are threatening to do some act that is forbidden by IPC. Is it clear? So this is coercion. Now just let me talk about some things. Actually, no, the law class should be physical, because this communication thing is something very important for a class. Like I am talking like mad in these videos, like nobody in front of me, just recording a video and whatever. It's very boring actually. Just tell me, I mean, how we will tell. But anyways, think, is threat to commit suicide, that is committing suicide, is it okay? I mean, is it like legal? Is it like not legal, just according to your moral or according to your beliefs? What do you think, that is committing suicide is okay? Fine, it's nothing big deal, not a big deal. Just think about it. Now few people who are like always depressed, why I don't know, but they are always depressed and thinking that yes, if something happens I will commit suicide. Please give yourself a break. Life is a lot more difficult than what you are facing now. So just prepare yourself for the worst and never give up, because giving up can never be an option. Just rise, okay? It's the time. You need to face, you need to experience, you need to talk about, you need to cry, you need to smile, you need to do everything. It's just the beginning. So just don't get depressed for silly matters, like my girlfriend have left me, my boyfriend have left me. Just don't. Life is a lot more difficult than all these minor things. Yes, it's a lot more difficult. So prepare yourself. Each and every day is an experience. Each and every day will give you a chance to learn something new, to establish yourself, to motivate others. So be someone who will motivate someone else. That is the real achievement of life. Yes, one day you all will be earning. You all will, some will be settled, some will be settled in a manner, some will be marrying, some will be working. Everything will be fine. Some will be earning huge, but that is not the real achievement. The achievement is when someone will admire you. Someone will admire you, that yes, I want to become like him, or I just want to follow his or her footsteps. That is life. Enjoy that. Enjoy now each and every crazy experience. Enjoy the failures, because failures will always teach you. It's not that every time we succeed. Same, I'm talking from my experience. It's not that every time I've succeeded. I was a very average student. To be honest, I was a very average student who used to sit in the last, not the last bench, but in the middle benches, never in the first ones. I was a very average student. But still, see, now I am your teacher. Few are accepting me wholeheartedly, few are not accepting me. But that doesn't mean that I will stop. Because I'm not here to stop. I will try to give my best. And that is what I expect from my students. There will be things which will hurt you. There will be things for which you need to cry. Yes, cry. Break. Take a pause. But then again restart. Don't just stop. Remember always. So this suicide concept is a very bad and weird concept. Because I know people committing suicide, they are not in that mindset. Okay, the mindset of such people, or during that moment the mind state of such people, is very difficult to understand. It's very difficult to understand because it's a moment's decision, but it cannot be appreciated. We cannot appreciate suicide. We cannot think that yes, we will suicide. We have our parents, we have our family who values us more than anything, more than any job, or more than any other person in your life, right? So never think of this thing. So even quote the court have said that is the Madras High Court have said that if you are giving a threat to commit suicide, it also leads to coercion. Suppose if you are threatening that please sign the papers or I will do this, this also amounts to coercion. This, the Madras High Court have said that. Which? The Madras High Court. Clear? So never ever think of all this. The life is beautiful, life is tough, enjoy it, whatever it is. Right? So threat to commit suicide, does it amount to coercion? Does it amount to coercion? So there was a tussle between two things. Means there was one judge who said that threatening to commit suicide does not amount to coercion. Okay. So does not amount to coercion, but the Madras High Court held a judgment that even if you are threatening to commit suicide, then it leads to coercion. Is it clear? Okay. Now the next topic is threat. Next topic is threat to file a suit. Now if you are threatening someone to file a suit, means if you don't sign the papers, I will file a suit against you, I will go to court against you for any reason. So this doesn't amount to coercion, but it will amount to coercion if I'm threatening to file a suit on false charges. Means I am just making some story about you. If you do not sign the contract paper, I will tell that story to the court and I will charge you. I will file a case against you. If it is on false charges, if the threat to file a suit is on false charges, in that case it leads to coercion. Of course it leads to coercion. Clear? So threat to commit suicide, as per the judgment given by the Madras High Court, is also coercion. Threat to file a suit for false charges leads to coercion. Otherwise, it doesn't lead to coercion. Clear? Okay. So, in case of essentials of coercion, what you are getting means it must be something threatening, must be something which is forbidden by IPC, which is punishable under the IPC. It includes something physical. Of course, remember this term, it includes something physical. Okay. So, and coercion may proceed from anybody. Coercion may proceed from anybody. Means, see, when we are talking about Salman and Vicky, the contract is coming between these two person, means these two person are the parties to the contract. But in here, there is a third party. Who the third party is? Vicky's wife. Now, don't have to tell the name. Now, Vicky's wife is the third party. Now, this wife is a third party, but Salman is including his wife. So coercion may proceed from anybody, even a person who is not a party to the contract. Clear? Even a person who is not a party to the contract. Okay, so the contract in case of coercion becomes what? Voidable. Voidable. If the other party, Vicky, could prove that yes, Salman have forced him to sign the paper, then it will be in the part of Vicky that Vicky can set aside the contract or take any other steps against Salman. Clear? Now coming to the next one and the last one for today, that is undue influence. So what is undue influence? So what is undue influence? So undue influence means when you are playing with the mind of a person, when you are playing with the mind of a person, when you are dominating a person, when you are playing mind games with a person, you are in a position to dominate the will of the other person and obtain some unfair advantage. You are dominating not to obtain some fair advantage, but you are dominating. তুমি dominate কেন করছো? যাতে তুমি কিছু unfair advantage পাও, তুমি কিছু এমন কিছু পাও যেটা is unfair to that party. You are doing for your own benefit. When you are playing something with mind, that was coercion was physical. Here undue influence involves mind. Okay, involves mind. So that is called undue influence. That is called undue influence. Okay, so when we are just playing with some mind, I'm saying that if you do this I will, means not something, we are not threatening, we are not doing anything, but just we are playing with minds. Like for example, our parents, like your parents, my parents, when we were going to pass the board examination, that is the madhyamik or HS whatever, they always used to say যে এইটুকু পড়ে নে, এতটুকু করে নে, একটু খেটে নে, এটাই তো লাস্ট এক্সাম, এটাই সব থেকে বড় এক্সাম, আফটার দ্যাট I will give you something. So this is what our parents are mentally playing games with us, of course for our benefits, because if you score good marks you will get into a good college. That is for our benefit only, but it is done mentally. Something that is called mental, because our parents are in a position to dominate us, right? When you become working or whatever it is, but still our parents will be so much linked with us, they will be always in a position to dominate us, and they does. So to be honest, they does. Eta kor, eta please kore de, eta keno korchis na. And just, I don't know about others, but whenever my mom says that why are you doing this, don't spend so much, I feel like yes, my mother is right. Means that is something, because I have given my mom that position to dominate me. So when it comes to contract aspect, when you're talking about the contract aspect, this undue influence and taking someone's consent by undue influence is never right. Is never right. It is not free, right? So undue influence. So there are certain relationships where it is assumed that undue influence will exist. Where it is assumed that undue influence will exist. So what are the relationship? Number one that I just gave example, parent and child. Of course it will exist. Number two is guardian and ward. What is guardian and ward? Sometimes a person is appointed by the court. Person is being appointed by the court to manage the affairs of some other person who is not capable to do so. So that person is a guardian. Means suppose if a child is having no one left in his or her family, then the court might appoint a guardian for that child unless that child becomes 18, becomes a major person. So in that case also the guardian and the guardian could mentally dominate or influence the ward. In case of doctor and patient, yes, of course, why not? Because we are not doctors. Just see, this is very prominent. This happens in real life every time, every second this is happening. Whenever we visit a doctor, whenever we visit, whatever the doctor says, we are ready to do. মেবি দ্যাট ওই টেস্টটা আমার করার দরকারই নেই, আমার ব্যথা হচ্ছে গলায়, ডক্টর টেস্ট দিচ্ছে হার্টের, maybe that test is not required only, but still we are so afraid. Because why we are afraid? Because we don't have any other options, because we are not experts like them, right? So doctor and patient, the relation between doctor and patient is also, can also, in this relationship also undue influence might work. Then solicitor and client. Solicitor and client. Who is solicitor? Means the solicitor and client, your lawyer and your client. Okay, of course, do you know everything about law? After reading this business law, will you become a lawyer? No, never. So you have to depend on your lawyer, you have to depend on your solicitor, yes or no? And in that case, whatever the solicitor says, you have to believe, right or not? We have to believe. Okay, 1 second, just give me a small break, I'm coming. I'm so sorry class, this time in this class I have to take 2 breaks just because nobody is nobody is in my home. My mom has gone to the hospital for her dialysis, of course, and my father is also not there, so I have to attend whoever is coming. So I'm very sorry for this. Anyways, so solicitor and client. So solicitor and client means what? Means whenever the lawyer, someone who gives you legal advice. So are you expert? You are not expert. So you need advice. So take that advice. Better take that advice. And whenever you are taking that advice, you have to believe that person. And if that person charges you whatever, $100,000, you have to pay it. So here also undue influence can happen. Okay, in case of trustee and beneficiary, we have talked about trustee and beneficiary, right? Someone is being appointed as a trustee, so in case of trustee and beneficiary also this might happen. In case of trustee and beneficiary also this might happen. Also in case of Ramdev Baba and Ramdev Baba's disciple means the religious gurus, the religious advisors of the disciple. Have you ever seen that Astha channel in the morning? The people are following Ramdev like mad. Whatever he is saying, people are following. This impact religious advisors have on us. মানে ভাবা যায় না, লাইক অনেকের বাড়িতেই আছে অনুকূল ঠাকুরের দীক্ষিত, সাম ইজ লাইক দ্যাট আরে রামকৃষ্ণ মিশনে আছে দীক্ষিত, অনেকে আছে ভারত সেবাশ্রম সঙ্গে দীক্ষিত, যেটা আমার বাড়ির মেম্বার্সরাও আছে. সো guru is, whatever the guru is saying, you following, believing like mad. This is called dominance, undue influence. So between the religious gurus, the advisors, and the disciple, the scams, all those happens with the religious gurus. How mean, means what to say, people are actually, people suffer, people's mind is something with which you can play very well if you know how to play. We all psychologically get dependent on someone no matter what. So here walks the undue influence. Okay, so this is the concept of undue influence, where the mind plays, and in case of coercion, where physical force or the threat to commit something that is forbidden by IPC works. Okay class, so in the next class we will complete this chapter, and from the next day we will start legality of objects and consideration, which will be a chapter that will be completed in one day only. And void and voidable agreements, okay, we'll complete it. Your examination is on we'll start from February, I guess. We'll try to complete it by January. That will be our target. So let's just see. Okay, so thank you.